afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? My name is Rico Robles. We hope you guys are well, and we have something very, very exciting for everybody that's in store for you. I'd like to welcome you all, of course, to the Global Virtual Media Conference for the much-awaited sophomore album, Options, to be released by Tarsier Records this June 25th. Today, we're talking about the album that spanned for 2 years. A Filipino artist jet-setting from Manila, Los Angeles, San Francisco, London, Toronto, Honolulu, Tokyo to Sydney and back. The pandemic era got nothing on this young singer-songwriter, appearing on international shows, releasing massive global collaborations, and taking Filipino music to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody that's here joining us, please welcome Inigo Pascual.
Hi, Sir Rico. Hey, guys.
What's up? What's up, Inigo? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm just chilling. I'm excited for today. Thank you so much for everyone that's here with us. And of course, Sir Rico, thank you so much for being here for doing this. And I'm just excited for everyone to finally be able to hear Options, the album. It's been 2 years that we've been working on this. So finally, it's here.
With the 2 years that you've been working, we all know that, of course, you performed at the Clippers game, the halftime when the audience were there. Now with the whole pandemic, man, how was the adjustment? What are the things that you've come to learn and everything?
I mean, for everybody, we all had to adjust because of the pandemic. We had a lot of things planned out for this album. Specifically, we were supposed to go to different places. We were supposed to tour this album in different places. But yeah, we didn't want to stop. I personally want to thank Tarsier because, they didn't put my album on hold. They didn't, stop working on the album, even if there was a pandemic going on, even if there was so much going on. We still wanted to work on this. And I remember the day before, or I think it was the day before or after the quarantine was announced, we were supposed to shoot a music video, Neverland. And, we were actually able to work on it during the pandemic, I think a year after. So I'm glad that, we still pushed for it, and finally it's here. We've been working so hard for this album. We literally had so much options for this album. Each track, some of the tracks here have, multiple versions. And I'm just glad, that we're able to do this. We're still able to share music globally, not just here in the Philippines. I'm able to share whatever we have in Tarsier music, Tarsier Records, and I'm just grateful, very, very grateful.
I remember we did have a press con about it as well. The previous press cons that you got to work with Haneri, and everybody in Southeast Asia, right, got together and did something great. So of course, Neverland, Inigo did mention it. We'll give you guys a sneak peek of it a little later on. Now, joining Inigo today is Tarsier Records founder and label head, and his frequent collaborators such as hits, of course, as Catching Feelings, critically acclaimed pop R&B song Lost, and one of Apple Music's top 100 songs of 2020, always on one of his generation's most in-demand and popular producers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Chris Lopez, aka Moophs. Woo! What's up, man?
Thanks, Rico. What's up, guys?
How you been? The man who never left the studio.
Yeah, I live here.
Literally.
Literally. I'm always in here. It's my happy place.
So, this is an exciting time. This is something that you guys have been working on for quite some time. Now it's officially here. So this is very exciting. And how do you feel about it?
OrangeMagazine.ph.
It's crazy. It's been a long journey, as Inigo said. We started this journey in 2019. I remember in Feb 2019, I met him in LA. I was up in the Bay Area, and then he flew to LA, and I met him down there, and we were recording, going to promo sessions, and we have photos on that. If you scroll down the feed far enough, you see. And it's just crazy that album started there, and it's finishing now on the other end of the pandemic. It's just crazy. So
and the amazing part, Chris, you and Inigo, and of course Tarsier, is that regardless of what's happening in the world, you guys get it all together and let's keep it going. Let's stick to the roadmap. What gets you guys to keep on going? What powers you guys to keep on going? Especially when you watch the news, you're like, oh, what's happening? What's happening? You just kept on producing good songs, and it's becoming a soundtrack to our 2020, 2021, man.
Yeah, it's funny you said that, because like I think because of the pandemic, the album evolved. And it kind of, I mean, everything, all culture was affected by the pandemic. But, so you can definitely see it in the album. Like the songs that were produced before are just of a different nature, and they're about a different thing. But as far as like the work ethic, that's Inigo number one. I mean, he just shows up always. He's so busy, he's so in demand. He's always down to work. You know, he's always focused and ready to go. And it's a blessing to work with an artist like that.
Thank you.
And then secondly, it's the team. My team is, I'm blessed to work with them. They're some of the best people I've ever met, and they're the hardest workers I know, and they just pulled miracles out of nowhere, left and right. Like last year was just non-stop that. So it really doesn't get better than that. So I really have to. They're always behind the scenes. They don't really get much love, but they're the reason in a large part why this is working and has worked.
And you know, one of the things as well that we got to see, one of the highlights as well for 2021 Inigo and for Tarsier is seeing you guys actually getting airplay in Kiss FM. And how did that feel? Getting your songs heard, you know, not just international, but at a radio station, the biggest radio station in America. How did that feel?
I mean, I grew up in LA, you know, listening to Kiss FM, Power 106, and it was so timely also that I was actually in LA at the time it happened. It wasn't planned. I didn't know it was going to get played on the radio at all. And I remember like Rosin messaging me, telling me that it was going to get played, and I was just waiting in the car for it to get played. And up to this day, like it still hasn't sunk in that, you know, my song was actually playing on those radio stations. Because I mean, like growing up, I would just dream about that happening.
Yeah. And then now, you know, for you as well, Chris, for you to hear your beats, for you to hear your production at a place where you grew up in Los Angeles, you're hearing it over the speakers and inside your car. How did that feel?
It's crazy. I mean, this last one was actually, I didn't produce. That was produced by DJ Flick, who's a great Grammy-nominated producer out in LA. But we might have got, I don't even remember. I think we got, for Catching Feelings we did, right? We got radio airplay. That was like 2 years ago. But okay, it did happen for Catching Feelings, and that was wild. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Imagine Catching Feelings is 2 years ago, man. See how time flies. Even, you know, this song Neverland is just in any relation to Peter Pan. Like, you know, they do have that saying that Peter Pan don't want to grow up, Peter Pan don't want to fall in love. I mean, is there any relation? And who wrote the song? You wrote the song, or Chris?
I was part composer of this song. We actually worked on this track with Bernard Harvey, or Harv, which is also the producer of Peaches by Justin Bieber. And this is one of the first, I think this is the first track that we actually worked on when we were in LA. The very first song we worked on this album. And Peter Pan.
His wife Felicia co-wrote too, right?
Felicia, co-wrote, And then we kind of wanted to write something that would describe, you know, a toxic how would we call it a toxic relationship, where, you know, like you still want this love and you want to stay here, but you know it's not doing anything good for you. You can't leave. And you know, I mean, there's this part of the song that says, 2 hands on a grenade, counting on to our fate. And you know, I mean, there's a lot of situations wherein couples just don't want to leave because they still want to hold on to each other even if they just keep hurting each other. And I feel like that kind of relates to what Neverland is. You know, they didn't want to leave the place, but they wouldn't grow up if they stayed there. And
what was the toughest line?
It's great.
What was the toughest line in the song for you to sing?
To sing?
Yeah, what was the toughest? Like you felt it, like, oh man, why you gotta write this line? You know, what was the most memorable line that hit you hard? You know what I'm saying?
I love that part that goes, Russian roulette's our favorite game. 2 hands on a grenade, counting on to our fate. That's my favorite part, only because it's so true. You know, there's there's times where I feel like, or there was a time where I felt like I was in that situation, and I'm sure a lot of people could relate to that.
Yep.
And you know, Moophs as well. You've been collaborating with Inigo for quite some time now. This time around, you guys are opening it to collaborators as well. So how does it feel that you two are collaborating with other people as well when it comes to making the music?
It's great. I mean, it should be. Honestly, like we work really well together, but I'm really glad to see him branching out and working with other people all over. It's because you get a different flavor every time, you get a different result, and it makes the album really diverse. So, yeah.
Every journey, there's memories that you would have, you know, for this album when you guys are creating it. What were the great memories and what were the funniest ones? And you'd be like, oh, I can't believe we did that. I can't believe we went through.
I just thought of the funniest. I mean, there was a time I performed at House of Blues and I sang Better Now by Post Malone. I did this reggae island version. And like 2 lines into the song, I forgot the lyrics. And I remember just like, and it was my first time performing in LA, I think, to a non-full of people crowd.
Sold out House of Blues in Anaheim.
Yeah. So I was super nervous. I think it was my second song. And I remember saying, sing with me, and nobody sang with me. I was like, oh, shoot. And I still didn't know which part of the song I was on. So I just kept mumbling till I found my way through the song.
They went crazy.
Some of the best parts though, I mean, there's a lot. Staples Center was definitely like one of the highlights. It's one of those things that I also, you know, would dream about as a kid, passing by Staples Center on the way to the airport. And I would always just say that I want to perform in that place one day. And I still can't believe that actually happened. What else? There's a lot, Chris.
Grammys, dude, remember that? We were in LA
I was
during
just
the
talking
Grammys.
about that to
So
my
we
friend.
were going to all the Grammys after parties and just seeing all these.
That was
like
wild.
Stevie Wonder walks by and then.
That was wild. Yeah.
Dude, I can't. Yeah,
Like,
that was nuts.
Zed, Nick,
Who's the most popular? Who was the most popular ever that you guys ever met or just ran into?
I was that girlfriend I met, Nina something.
Nina Dobrev. Yeah, I want to take a picture so badly.
She's there. There's this group called Gray that like used to be my favorite producers ever, and I just ran into them and took a photo with them. That was crazy. Who else?
I mean, I was just so happy to see Stevie Wonder in person. I mean, I love Stevie.
He didn't see us.
He didn't see.
You know, he felt you. He felt you. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. For those that are watching us, for those that are catching the press con, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rico Robles. I'm here with Inigo Pascual and, of course, Moophs joining us. Options, don't forget, June 25th, it's dropping. It's a hot track. It's a hot album from Inigo. We're giving members of the press an opportunity to ask some questions for Inigo, who will be joining us. Here's one of them from Showbiz Ganap. Here's James Miguel.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Hi, James.
Hi, James.
Hello po. Yung question for Inigo, gaano ka-personal yung album na to sa'yo? Like, yung mga songs ba is somehow nafe-feel mo at the moment? Or pinagdadaan?
I mean, para sa akin, you know, there's some songs in the album that I personally wrote as well that I actually, you know, may mga pinagdaanan ako and I was able to write those songs. And sa daming nangyari sa album na to, siguro, nasasabi ko each song kind of reminds me of a certain time in my life, or, di ba, parang so much happened while we were recording, while we were promoting. And yeah, I could say na sobrang personal itong album na to para sa akin. I mean, coming from my first album with Dahil Sa'yo, I was so nervous working on another album. I was so nervous with the thought of even releasing music because I didn't know what to come up with. But I'm happy now, you know, I'm glad that I'm able to do this and show this side of me. And that's all thanks to Moophs, of course, and the whole Tarsier team.
In part, it's also deeper.
May pinaka parang song na sobrang relate ka ngayon? Like yung pinaka song dun sa album?
Hindi ko masasabing relate. Pero siguro I've been listening to Danger a lot. Personally, also one of my favorites from the album, because it's a song that I've been wanting to do. I mean, it's that type of vibe that I've been trying to work on. I mean, with Chris, I can say also na nahanap ko yung tunog ko with this album. I mean, Chris and I were talking about, what sound can we make, or what can I make as my sound. Parang feeling ko dun sa first album ko, nag-explore pa ako kung ano ba yung tunog na gagawin ko for myself. And I feel like with this album and with Danger, Catching Feelings, we were able to kind of really figure that out.
As your home.
Yeah.
Home sound.
Yun lang. Thank you so much, Inigo. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, James. Ingat ka.
Thank you, James. There you go, from Showbiz Ganap, James Miguel. Also, another question. This one's coming from Josephine Bonsol of joebonsol.net. Hi, Josephine.
Hi, Rico. Hello, Chris.
How are you?
Congratulations.
Hello.
Inigo. I miss you.
Mami Jo, hello po.
Hi, I love you, Inigo.
I
And
love you po.
siguro I'd like to ask you first, how do you feel if you can assess how you have evolved from when you started and now? What are the changes? What do you think? And did the options change also? Your preferences when it comes to the genre of music, your inspiration? Would you like to talk about that?
I mean, for myself as an artist, sabi kong mas nag-mature siguro yung ako. And then also my music definitely matured with the sound that it has now. Ibang-iba siya sa tunog ng first album ko. And I'm glad I was able to work on this kasi mas natuklasan ko yung tunog na gusto ko pala para sa sarili ko. And siguro even with my likings of genres and types of music, I was able to explore more. Actually, with the help of Chris also, he would share with me a lot of new artists. And even the artists in Tarsier, like there's so many young artists that are so talented and so diverse, iba yung kaya nilang gawin at mabibigay nila. So nakakatuwa kasi pati ako natututo ako sa kanila. There's so many artists that are even younger than me na sobrang talented, sobrang galing magsulat, mag-produce. Some of them, they do everything. They produce, they write, they sing and perform. So nakaka-inspire na sana magawa ko rin yun, diba? And age is just a number. You could do whatever you want as long as you put your heart and your passion. Yung passionate ka talaga sa ginagawa mo.
Pero I'm also curious, Inigo, and I bet your fans are going to be curious about this. Are you still trying to study about? Hindi pa ako sa love life. Wala pa ako doon. Siguro dun sa are you trying to study further? Are you training? Are you doing things to help you, create a better version of you?
So just a couple months ago, I started this training for my dance and for my performing. Para lang mas mahasa rin po ako, and it's definitely changed my perspective on a lot of things, not just in performing but in my lifestyle. Kasi grabe yung mga bata ngayon, sobrang talented talaga. It's hard to keep up with the times, with these kids just coming out of nowhere and they're so talented. And personally, I don't want to limit myself with what I've already done. But I want to keep going and I want to maximize my talent and what I can do. And I also want to be able to entertain at full capacity and just be able to really bring joy through my music. And yes po, I am actually doing a lot of training right now. Actually, after this press meron pa akong training mamaya 6 p.m. So dire-diretso talaga. But it's all part of it. It's all part of the process of making the dream happen.
Last question.
Ito na yung love life.
Hindi. Sila na lang kasi marami pang nasa roster na magtatanong sa kanya. I will not deprive them of the chance to ask you. Pero my question is my last siguro. If you want to share to your fans, no? Kasi they're still curious. Are you hirit lang konti, love life. Are you in love right now?
Right now, I'm not currently in love with someone, but I'm in love with what I'm doing. I mean, grabe yung lahat na nangyayari. I mean, it's hard to really start something. I mean, I've been saying that, and I know people are probably getting so tired of my answers, but that's just the reality of it. I mean, we're going through this pandemic, so much is going on.
Yeah, how do you meet someone in the pandemic?
Yeah. Ang hirap din magsimula ng
online. Yeah, it is tough. It is tough. Yeah.
So it's also hard to say that I'm in love. It's a big word. Yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations,
Thank you, Mami Jo. Love you po.
Inigo. I love you. Thank
Miss
you,
you.
Chris, and thank you, Rico.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you very much. You see, her background is in New York City. She's live in New York. We have some more questions, ladies and gentlemen, for those. This one, I'll be reading in a question coming from Neil Ramos from Tempo. The question is, please relate how you have grown as a songwriter, musician, performer in the recent years.
I feel like I was able to have more appreciation to sounds that I didn't really see myself listening to before, or even doing. With Options, the album, I remember there were times in the recording studio with Chris, I would make sounds with my mouth. I'd be like, yo, Chris, I want to put this in the song.
And it's in the record.
Even like the
Dude,
trumpet.
there's one sound, Easter egg, if you could find it somewhere on the album. He's making a trumpet noise. He's like, It sounds like a trumpet, but it's actually him going pop, 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 like that with his mouth. See if you can find it.
Hey.
This album definitely, made me more experimental to what I can do to each song.
And with the dancing you did mention, dahil nagtitiktok ka na rin ngayon. Ganun na yun. Is it to elevate the dance moves?
Actually, nakatulong din yung TikTok. I mean, TikTok's not easy. I mean, nowadays, like, the dance challenges on TikTok are not easy, actually. So, no, pero the training is just for performance talaga. I want to push myself even more, and it's not easy. I'm telling you guys, it's intense.
And to sing at the same time while you're dancing, right? And you got like an earpiece and all that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Here's another question. This is coming from Queenie Arguelles Lastra from Village People. Why Options as the title? Is there a specific reason for it? Please expound. Why is it Options album, and what is it all about?
We were actually discussing this on what the title should be, but Options being the very first track that we released, I felt like it was just perfect. Also because there are certain songs in the album that have a lot of options, a lot of different versions. Even the music video for Options literally had 3 different versions, and I just feel like it also kind of relates to how a young man such as me would have to go through life and would have certain options that I would have to deal with, and each song kind of represents that certain time or that emotion that I felt. And iba-iba. I mean, this album is full of different things. I mean, there's love songs, there's songs that makes you miss your ex, or makes you realize that you're still falling for that person. So yeah, I mean, Options.
No, we could have called it Decisions, because really Options really just leads to decisions, right? You have options, you have to decide. And that's actually like when you're producing music, it comes down, there's like 1,000 decisions you have to make. Like, do I put this sound or this sound? Do I set it at this level or this level? And he helped produce a lot of it. So there were a lot of options even in the creation of the album.
Yeah.
And is it because the reason why there's so many options is because of the pandemic and you guys are all in the studio? There's a lot of creative juices. Life is not getting in the way and there's a lot of time?
Well, I mean, there was that, but there's also just like we were exploring, and there were a lot of different producers, and we also had remixes. I don't know, am I allowed? I'll find out if I'm allowed to say something about something we're dropping next month. If someone could let me know, that involves that. But there was just a lot of creative input, so a lot of options in that sense. Like this.
All right, this is something to look forward to. Here's another question. We're going to call in, let's see, Dranessa Ledesma, representing the popblog.ph. Is she there? Supposed to be joining us. Okay, well, her question is, what's the inspiration or story behind the album? Is there any new musical influences and references you guys use in making this album?
There was a lot, actually. I mean, the fact that we did it for 2 years, there were a lot of artists that I would listen to, and I would tell Chris, I kind of want to make it this sound or make it kind of feel like this vibe. And definitely, I mean, it's a whole different sound from what I've done before, from Dahil Sa'yo, from the first album that I made. It's a whole different sound. And like what I said earlier, I feel like I found my sound through this album.
Okay, some more questions, of course. These are the people that are sending. Let's call Neil Lajot from the Freeman. Hi, Neil.
Hi, hello Rico, hello Chris.
How you doing?
Hi, Neil.
Hi, so I would just like to congratulate you, Nico, for your upcoming album.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
pretty sure that your fans are really looking out for it. So, my question is, so the 12-track album was said to revolve around the concept of self-discovery as you explore several options in the musical sound. May I ask what are the discoveries you found about yourself, both personal and professional, while making or after completing this album?
I mean, I could definitely say I grew up with this album. I don't think I've ever worked on anything this long. 2 years was a long time, but I mean, to be honest, it didn't even feel like work. You know, working on this album never felt like I was working. And I guess it's one thing that I learned throughout this whole journey, you know, making this album, was that it's possible to work and make music without making it feel like work or making it feel like you're doing it for something, but you're just plainly enjoying it and sharing music to different types of people. I mean, the fact that we were able to share it to different parts of the world, it's crazy. You know, I never thought I'd be able to do that. So yeah, I mean, my main learning was patience and learning to just enjoy and being in the moment and not stopping because of a pandemic.
Thank you so much. And yeah, you mentioned about the pandemic already. This is also my second question, and perhaps Chris can also add to add this question. So in the span of 2 years, of course, you've had encountered a lot of difficulties when making this album. So can you walk us through to those moments, the difficulties that you had to encounter?
Okay, well, I guess I could speak to on the back end. Like, I mean, for recording, obviously, there's the challenge of doing it safely. But Inigo we've worked in here so many times that there's a level of trust, and we're able to just he's getting tested like all the time. How many swabs have you done, bro? Like 100?
Probably like 100.
Yeah. So there's always a chance if I need him to record, he'd be like, "Oh, I'll be swabbed on Tuesday. Okay, come over after." But I know that the team specifically struggled a lot with some of the challenges posed by the pandemic. Like budgets get inflated with testing costs. The logistics just go haywire. I'm sure anyone in production can speak to that. How hard it is to mount just a shoot, just like a normal shoot during these times. It's crazy, right? So, but then the flip side of that is there are some things we were able to do with Inigo and with the label in general that wouldn't have been possible without the pandemic. Like, because of the pandemic, Zoom became a regular thing. If we weren't the pandemic, we'd all be, nobody would show up to this for a telecon. It would have to be in person, right? But with the pandemic, it's allowed Zoom to be a thing, which has allowed international collaborations to happen more easily. Like even Rico knows, like we've had artists from LA come and interview with him, and they're just as live as if they were in Manila. So it's a two-sided coin, I would say.
For me, I mean, there was a lot of things that we had to go through. I mean, in 2019, I was barely home. I was barely in the Philippines because I was flying in and out almost every month. And then like 2020 happened, and we had so much planned out. I was supposed to go on tour with New Rules in the UK.
12-day tour, UK, Scotland, Ireland, England.
And it would be my first time being on a tour, but having like an actual tour. And I think that was the first thing that kind of made me sad about the pandemic happened, was like that I couldn't do that. But yeah, I mean, the swab test, honestly, I hate getting swabbed. I'm still not used to it. Talaga ako nasasada swab ako. Even sa sa ASAP, di ba, sa lahat ng ginagawa namin, naging iba talaga yung proseso ng lahat. Kasi, you know, I mean, there was a time in ASAP where we had to tape everything all in 1 week, you know, for the whole month. And it's hard just memorizing choreography, memorizing the lyrics, and having to look like you know each song, each performance by heart. And I don't think a lot of people realize that, you know, we don't have that much time to really learn and to put in our all in those songs in that small amount of time. So there's a lot of things that we had to adjust to. I mean, with this album, we didn't know where we were gonna go after the pandemic happened. We didn't know if we were still gonna keep going, keep releasing music. We had so much planned out. Honestly, we had so many tours and so many different places we wanted to go to. But more than anything, I'm just glad that we still pushed for it. The team pushed for it, and we would have Zoom calls, you know, talking about what we could do. And honestly, that gave me hope, you know, through the pandemic. Every time we would have Zoom calls, I would actually feel better afterwards and feel like, you know, there's still something to be happy about. Yeah.
Right, thank you so much, Inigo.
Thank you so much, Neil. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a great question. Can you just imagine that, right? You're doing ASAP, you're doing ASAP, you have to perform like 20 songs and you have it all taped. That could create you into a superstar, man. I mean, like Mike Shin, this one's coming from, let's see, Bluebird. And, right? I mean, can you just imagine that? I mean, Bluebird and Carrie Bell of Tag 911 over in Dubai has a question for you. Here's go.
Tag.
Hello, guys.
Remember visiting you guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, good afternoon. First and foremost,
What's up?
congratulations, Inigo, and congratulations, Moophs, Chris Lopez, for this really exciting project with Inigo. We are also excited here in Dubai. So let's talk about your album options. So how will you describe the album in one word?
Whew, that's hard. Chris, you want to go first?
Thank you.
Great question.
And we're not allowed to just say options, right?
Option.
Yeah, word option.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Kapit lang. I'd say I mean dream, siguro dream.
Oh, there.
I like that.
That's a good one. Dream. Okay, and
Okay na yun? Okay na yun? Okay, Inigo, I have one question. Out of the 12 tracks in your album, saan dito yung track na paborito mo at bakit?
Ako po, pinaka-paborito ko dito sa buong album po. Ngayon po, personally, I do love Danger, but my personal favorite from this whole album, if I really take the time to listen to it, Neverland, honestly, would be my favorite. Only because it's so, it's different. Nung ginawa namin itong kantang to, hindi ako makapaniwala na it's my song. When I listen to it, I still don't believe that it's me. Sometimes I'm like, this is me on a song that sounds this good. I love the lyrics of this song. It's very also poetic. I mean, it's very deep. I mean, I could definitely relate to it. Not now, but I feel like it's a song na madaming makaka-relate and madaming taong pinagdadaanan yung sinasabi ng kantang Neverland.
And in case he mentioned earlier, but this was produced by Justin Bieber's producer, Harv.
Yeah.
The guy who made Peaches. So it's kind of no wonder that it's that good.
Yeah.
well, actually, congratulations again.
Thank you, guys.
Need to see you guys back
We
here
miss you
in
guys. We
Dubai.
miss
Nice
you
to
guys.
see you again.
Hopefully, you
Dubai.
know, you could,
Yeah, we'll be
on
back
here.
soon.
Yes, and we can't wait to listen to your second album. options. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Ay, man, mga kababayan natin dyan in Dubai getting entertained.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Here's another question. This is coming from NME Asia. This is Marielle Abanes is asking, who is the Inigo that you're introducing in this upcoming album? Can you share the creative process with this record? Anong classic Inigo? Is it kasi naka-unbutton na ng 2 buttons down yan? Is it di ba?
Siguro yun mismo. Nakabukas na yun. Mas mature na po ako sa album na to. Ready for mature. Siguro with this album, I became more vulnerable. And it wasn't just about how the song sounded, but it was more personal with each lyrics, each song that we created. I felt like this is an Inigo that is more open and more mature. Yeah.
And here's another question as well coming from Marielle. Can you share the creative process with this record?
Hours spent in this room. Right?
Literally.
Actually, no, that's a lot of it was in LA too. I always go back to that one moment in the hotel room. We were in LA in the hotel room in Glendale, and we were between we had just finished recording session in the morning, and we had promo again in the afternoon. We just had a couple hours, and we were just hanging out. Yeah. And he was like, "I have these 3 songs," and I just got my travel guitar, and we just jammed them out and recorded on the phone, and that's how Lost, Ride, and Catching Feelings were born.
Yeah.
Right. That's always one of my favorite memories, I think, because it's just crazy how music happens in the most random.
And like the hits, these are hits. These are the hits that just came out of just grasping it via that moment, traveling with the guitar. Yeah, dude, that's just an amazing thing. Also, another question as well: how did the pandemic influence your songs? Especially we did mention this earlier, but how about the process of writing and everything?
Well, a lot of the songs were created before the pandemic, but I could say that me being OC and also Chris being OC, a lot of things were changed. I remember there was a time that we already had to submit all the tracks, and I was like, Chris, I'm gonna re-record something, and then it was always like that, I mean, every time we recorded, I always wanted to re-record things, and I felt like also the pandemic kind of played a lot on how I felt about each song. But I think we had everything mostly recorded, right?
Yeah.
Before the pandemic.
Other than Always we did, which was one we released last year. That one made to Apple Music Top 100, and that was with the help of Sam Concepcion. Actually, he helped write it, and Vince Nantes, who also worked on Rise, which is another one we did last year that wasn't part of the album. There were a lot of versions, like Inigo said. There were some songs that were finished, and then we ended up just reproducing the whole thing to make it fit better. Yeah. And actually, on that note, I can't say exactly what it is, but even after the album dropped this Friday, it's not over. Stay tuned next month. There's more coming for
remixes and all that. Yeah.
More.
Okay. Yeah.
Even more.
I won't say. Yes.
Here's a question coming from let's see, from representing Philstar.com. Ritz. How you doing, Ritz Ignacio? Joining us. Hi.
Hello.
What's up?
Hi po.
Hi, Ritz.
Hi, Ritz.
Nasabi niyo po kanina na the song po is na-adjust po yung sa music video, yung shooting niyo po. Well, nung nag-shooting na po kayo, ngayon, parang ano po yung mga changes?
There was a lot. Actually, I was actually telling them that I'm grateful. I mean, it's ugly to say I'm grateful for the pandemic happened, but I'm happy that we had that much time to actually build yung music video na yun, and I felt like it had more depth because we had that much time to really think of how we can create that music video. And I'm honestly grateful also for the team that helped conceptualize it. I actually want to say his name, Dominic
Braxi. Dominic Beckard.
So I want to say thank you to their team because they helped just make the whole thing happen, and it was a dream. The whole music video was literally a dream.
I love it. That video is crazy.
Yun. Maraming nabago sa unang concept namin talaga.
Yeah.
Oh, Easter egg. At the end of the video, one of our team members actually makes a cameo.
Yes. And Hanapin niyo siya doon.
She's gonna kill me for saying that.
Okay po. Thank you po. Congratulations po, sir.
Thank you so much, Ritz.
Thank you, Ritz. Thank you very much. Here's some more questions. This one's coming from the Manila feed. Chad Rosette. Hi. Hi, Chad.
Hello.
Hi, thanks, Rico. Hi, Inigo. Congratulations.
Thank you so much po.
My question is, since there are a lot of aspiring artists nowadays, no? And if you were going to share a nugget of wisdom or an advice to an aspiring artist who wants to follow your footsteps, what would it be?
There's a lot of things that's happened to me throughout this journey that I never thought would be possible. And I mean, Staples Center pa lang, I still get blown away that actually happened, because I used to just say that as a kid. Also, write down your goals, write down your dreams, and pray about them. Always have trust. And huwag kang matakot na mag-explore. Huwag kang matakot na mahalin din yung sarili mo at yung ginagawa mo, yung craft mo, yung appreciation mo sa work mo.
Inigo, sa dami ng mga performances ng other artists na napapanood mo or nakakolaborate mo, was there a particular song or performance that made you say, wow, I want to do that? May ganun ba?
From another artist? A song from another artist po ba?
Yes.
Yes,
gusto mo siyang gawin?
Hindi ako rapper, pero sana si Easy Mill, when he came out with Panalo, sobrang akong na-amaze talaga sa ginawa niyang kanta. And also hearing stories from the people that have worked with him, I found out that he's very passionate with his craft. He would spend days in front of the mirror just practicing how he would perform and how he would sound. So I feel like if I were to choose a song, it would be Panalo. Also, as a kid, I always mention this, Sam Concepcion talaga yung isang iniidolo ko na artist as a kid. And every time I would get to see Sam perform, I still get amazed. He's so talented and he's so generous and so genuine. It's crazy that I'm actually able to work with him and call him, Kuya, and one of my friends from Tarsier. Actually, one of my friends in my life. So, yeah.
That was a dream of mine from day one, is to put them together in a song, and it finally happened last year.
Hopefully, it will happen soon. Any plans of having a digital concert soon?
We will be announcing a lot of things very soon. So, abangan po natin yan. It's not impossible. Nothing's impossible now. I mean, especially now, everyone please get vaccinated so we can finally do live shows.
True that.
Thank you, Inigo, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Chad.
Thank you, Chad. There you go, to Manila feed. Here's another question from Rated J, coming from Singapore. June Rigonan. Hi, June.
Hi, good. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Watching here in Singapore. All right, my first question sa iyo, Inigo. By the way, congratulations muna sa bagong album.
Thank you so much.
All right, okay. Dahil na rin sa, or can you just tell me, like, nawala na yung questions ko dito. Okay, in doing this album, what are your discoveries about like your musicality and your craft? Pero ka bang mga na-discover na bago with regards to your musicality and craft?
Madami. I mean, like what I said, I found my sound through this album. Doon ko na-realize na island boy talaga ako, and I wanted to really not own that. I wanted to really dive into that sound even more. And me coming from, I lived in the States, and Philippines being a country full of islands, and I love island music as well. I mean, para sa akin, I wanted to mix the two together. My appreciation for pop music from the States. I have a big appreciation also for K-pop and reggaeton, those type of music. I kind of wanted to do something in between all of those, something that I would listen to as a kid and kind of put it together, but also still keeping that OPM sound and sticking to my roots. And I'm glad that I'm able to do that with this album. So madami ako natutunan sa sarili ko. And gaya nga sabi ko kanina, there's this weird sounds that I would just create and I would just put on the song.
Right.
I can't believe I did that.
Right. So this is really you. This album is really you.
Yeah.
Right. Well, speaking of appreciation, medyo babagong ko lang yung tanong ko na nasabi na doon. Your dad is actually a singer and so are you. Obviously, there's a little bit of a gap in terms of your generation, and I assume that the songs that he probably listens is different from what you listen. Can you tell us how is like your dynamics as a father and son when it comes to music? Kasi medyo hindi pa namin naririnig yung
Mas
idea.
updated pa siya kaysa sa akin sa music.
Right. Does he listen to your songs as well? Or has he even listened to the track?
Yeah, no. My dad always honestly listens to my songs. Even before I get to share it with him. He's able to listen to it and he gives me advice on what I should be doing next, and he tells me stick to that. Actually, he's one of those people that actually also told me stick to that island pop sound because it makes you different. It makes you you. It makes you Inigo. And I've always been so experimental, even with my looks. My dad always sees me as this kid that just wants to try out different things. And I nagpakulot ako ng buhok dati. I colored my hair. So
new haircut.
My dad's exactly. Actually, that's so true. Literally. My dad's very supportive of the songs that I put out. And yung mga pinapakinggan ni Papa, nagugulat ako kasi mas updated pa siya sa akin. There was a time before he bought tickets to see Post Malone and I was like, you listen to Post Malone? I was like, what? Nagugulat talaga ako sa kanya.
It's like you only know, man.
Mas updated pa siya talaga kaysa sa akin.
Wow, that's a surprising for us, especially na nakikita lang namin siya sa ASAP na or sa mga shows niya dati na yung mga iba yung pop songs talaga yung kinakanta niya. But anyways, congratulations and
thank you so much, Sir G.
we're so excited to listen to your new music.
Thank you
very much. Thanks, Rico.
Thank you.
Thank you. There you go, all the way from Singapore joining us, June. Here's another one, a throwing question from Eugene Assis of People's Journal. Also Jen E and News PH. The question is, to you, Inigo, I could hear some Bruno Mars in your songs. We all know that Mars is half Filipino. Do you get any inspiration from him or other Filipino artists into international scene?
Definitely. I mean, Bruno Mars he's a hero for me. Like, he's one of those artists that kind of pushed me to want to keep going with this crossover that we're doing. And for a lot of Asian artists as well, I feel like he kind of bridged that gap and made it possible for us Filipinos also to not be scared to dream of making it in the US or globally. And there's a lot of artists, as a kid, like what I mentioned earlier, Sam Concepcion, Tito Gary, because Tito Gary's one of those artists na kahit ang dami niya nang na-achieve or nagawa, he's never selfish of the knowledge that he knows. He's very generous and very helpful. Miss Regine, honestly, there was a time Miss Reg she wanted to bring me to the voice doctor because I couldn't sing properly, and she was like, "I'll personally bring you there if you don't go." Like, she wanted me to take care of my vocal cords, and nakakatuwa kasi doon mo makikita na you could be successful, but you could also be super generous to the younger generation. And that's what I want to be. I want to be that person that is also able to do that to the younger generation. Yeah.
And that's something that we're going to look forward to 2021. But this moment, ladies and gentlemen, for those that are watching us, this is that time where everybody from the press will get a chance to take a photo with everybody as we take that pose right now. Let's take that group photo for everyone. I'd like to thank, of course, Moophs and Inigo once again. Invite them for the album, the drop. Go ahead. Let's go first with you, Inigo.
All right, I want to thank everyone, of course, for being here with us today. Thank you so much for all the support and for taking the time to be with us. And I hope that you guys could support my sophomore album, my second album called Options. We've been working on this for 2 years. So sana po magustuhan nyo ang bawat track at makahanap kayo ng kanta na magpapasaya sa inyo. And I also hope that you guys also support the Carrier single, Neverland, comes out with the album. The music video also comes out that same day. And thank you so much for supporting my music from my first album to now my second album. And I hope that you guys continue to support my music, and I will never stop creating music for you guys. Thank you so much. And June 25 is the date.
All right, Chris.
First and foremost, I want to thank you, Inigo, for the trust You know, I remember meeting you like 2 years ago because I've been wanting to work with you, and just if I could have told myself then everything that would happen, I don't think I would believe it. But it's been a crazy ride, and I'm excited to continue working with you. Thank you, Rico, again for always being the best host, for taking us through these things. Thank you to all the press for being here. Big thank you to ABS-CBN, of course, to ABS-CBN Music, Sir Roxy McKeegan, Jonathan Manalo. Thank you to The Orchard, our distributor, for supporting us so well with the DSPs. Thank you to ABS-CBN Global for the support. Thank you, of course, to Rosalind Covarrubias for all the support in the U.S.
Yes.
Thank you as well to Cornerstone for always having our backs. And thank you to my team as well, to Tarsier team. You guys are the best. Love you. And thank you all for being here.
Sorry.
What?
Yeah. I also just want to say thank you, of course, to you for making this happen. Of course, the whole Tarsier team. You guys never gave up on me, and I just want to thank you guys for always pushing me, even if I can be really hard-headed sometimes. And of course, to Star Magic,
yes,
ABS-CBN, Cornerstone. Thank you guys, Rosalind. Thank you to everyone who's helped us, create this album. Thank you guys, and June 25, let's go.
Yeah, it drops Friday.
Mr. Rico, thank you so much.
Midnight.
Hey, no problem, man.
Thursday at midnight, the album drops, and then stay tuned next month. There's a bunch of other stuff coming out July and August, actually, for the album still.
So can you imagine the bundle of energy of Inigo, man? Just, to get it out there.
Oh, guys, follow Tarsier Records on all socials for updates about all this stuff. I mean, you probably already follow Inigo, so just follow @Tarsier Records on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook for updates.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Don't forget
to
stream the album Options. It is all digital platforms, coming out June 25th. And of course, watch out for the music video of Neverland the same day, 7 p.m. on Inigo Pascual's YouTube channel, and also Tarsier. Thank you. Congratulations. Don't forget also to request for the songs in your favorite radio stations.
Yes,
the Monster.
Please.
Till then. Yeah, that's what it is. My name is Inigo Pascual. Thank you very much. We hope you had a great time and enjoy the rest of your day. Good day.
Thank you, guys.